Okay, yeah, okay. So can you start off by introducing yourself?
Yes, I am Nischay Parekh. I'm a songwriter, producer, guitar player slash multi-instrumentalist, I guess, and general maker of things that exist on the internet.
Could
Yeah.
you define that more?
Uh, yeah, I think the my main sort of creative outputs have been in the field of music and published sort of pop music.
Right.
Which ranges mainly between audio recordings, songs, and music videos. And those have basically been my two main sort of obsessions slash areas of interest for the better part of my adult life. So yeah, I think that kind of covers it without, it's kind of vague but still specific.
No, I totally get what you mean. Wait. So adult life. So when did you actually start making music? I'm not talking about Parekh Singh, just like you.
Yes. I actually wrote my first song when I was 11 years old. Yeah.
Oh my God. Did you
Yeah.
ever, is it like out there somewhere? Or is that something
No,
you kept to
no,
yourself?
it's not out there. But funny story. Well, not funny, but cute story, I guess. I remember I played that song to my guitar teacher, who's also actually a musician, Tajdar Junaid. I don't know if you know of him. He's a guitar player and composer, yeah, based in Bombay. He's made music now for like a bunch of ads, like the Kindle ad
Oh,
and
that's
stuff.
awesome.
Yeah. So he was my guitar player, a guitar teacher.
Mm.
When I was 11, he taught me how to play guitar. And I remember I played this song for him, and he was so excited that he
Oh.
called his other friend, who's also a musician and also incidentally living in Bombay and makes music for OTTs and stuff, a guy called Neil Adhikari. So it was in those days, it was like a Nokia phone. Like he put it on speaker. He put it on speaker and he made me sing the song to him on speaker.
Mhm.
And then I remember Neil told me to drop out of school and to just focus on music.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Did you do it?
No, I didn't do it.
Oh, oh my
I
God.
was class 11. I was just 11 years old. Wasn't going to listen to him, and my mom wouldn't have let me do that, obviously. But I mean, that was my first sort of time where I've shared music with
Uh-huh.
somebody else.
Uh-huh.
And I think that excitement is the same feeling that I still chase today, I think.
Oh, that feeling. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you mean from other people? Or do you mean from yourself?
Sorry? From other
Like
people?
from other
Uh,
people?
yeah, I mean, not even whether it's good or bad. Obviously, if it's good feedback, then that's obviously a bonus. But just that initial excitement of sharing something that you made by yourself
Mm-hmm.
with somebody else, with another person, and it affecting them in
Mm-hmm.
some way. Obviously, if it's in a positive way and you get like, your ego gets massaged. I only figured that stuff out later, like
Mm-hmm.
as you grow older. But when I was a kid, when I was 11, I was just excited that somebody was listening to
Oh my
something that I made. So
God.
I mean, I was like, oh, that can happen. Like that, I didn't put those things together. I was like, oh, that's a thing. That's like, okay, I understand. All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
if you don't mind sharing, like what was the song about?
It was a song called Shooting Star, actually.
Okay.
It was about, I think it was kind of about like being repressed or
Wow,
you know
okay.
not repressed in that sense, but it was a stupid song. I was just 11 years old. It wasn't a very good song, but about sort of like shooting out, and then like finding like breaking out into the world and being a star, like, but not being heard or like not being recognized in that sense, like being undiscovered, I
I
think.
don't think that's stupid at all. I think that's actually, do you think you'd ever revisit that? And maybe like,
Yeah, I might work on it now. I might make a little a reel or something. I feel like that. It's like now the way the internet works now and the way Instagram probably works now. Uh it's right for that kind of thing. For like put up a reel and say this is the first song I ever wrote when I was 11 years old. Yeah, maybe it was a song called Shooting Star. I remember it still. I think I remember the words. I definitely remember the chords. It was just three chords because those were the only three chords I knew how to play.
Okay.
So yeah.
So is that how did you like branch onto different instruments like after guitar? Like how did that go?
That happened much later. I was always interested in. So when I became like 15, I would say 15 or 16. By then, I knew that music is the thing. Like I want to make music for sure. There's nothing else that I want to do with my life. I just want to make music. I want to write songs and I want to make music.
Ah.
I didn't know what that means. Like how do you make money from that, or how do you make a life or career? But I just knew that that's what I want to do. Now everything else I thought I'll figure out later. So I started listening to a lot of songs, and I think this was just the advent of like videos and YouTube, and also I would watch a lot of VH1. So then I started seeing,
Of course.
like, I think that was the first time that and I also started attending like the fests that you'd have, in Indian schools, like the college, the school fests where there's like school bands, and then you're like, oh, okay, so that's a band, and there's different instruments that different people play. And then I want to be the guy who might be like one of any of the instrumentalists. Basically, I thought I could, like, then maybe I'll get a chance to be in a band if I can play keyboard, bass, and guitar. Drums, I always kind of knew that it wasn't my thing for some reason. But all of the other stuff, I felt like, yeah, I can do that. So I just started like getting my hands on the instruments wherever I could, bought some like cheap keyboard. Luckily, my parents were always like sort of encouraging. They let me follow my interests in that sense. So yeah, and then I always like these like Swiss Army knife type of people, in all fields, not just music. I like the crafty guy who can do a little bit of everything. So
No,
I think
clearly,
that, sorry.
clearly, I mean, you're doing
Yeah,
everything.
I like that personality, because I feel also those people are also very like silly and quirky somehow also. Like if there's somebody who's like, oh, I also like, I can build stuff with my hands, like I can make a wooden house, but I also like bake cookies, and I'm also a farmer, and I also indulge in like nature photography. You have to be a particular kind of character to follow all those interests.
Right, right.
And I think that more than anything, I felt like, okay, that must mean that you're a cool, like kind of quirky kind of guy. So, and I think I gravitated towards that, and that's why I tried to learn as many instruments as I could. So yeah, and I don't play any of them very well. Like I wouldn't
Why would
say that
you
I'm an
say
expert.
that?
I wouldn't say I'm an expert on any single instrument, but I enjoy playing whichever
Hey,
instrument
you
I
just
get.
being modest. You being modest about it.
I mean, no, I mean, not just modesty. I don't think, but also even then, I wasn't like never attracted to the guy who's the best guitar player. Like there are people who wanted to be obsessed with guitar, play really fast and stuff.
Right,
It's
right.
uh like I said, okay, that's fine. I wasn't so interested in being that guy or the best. Like even in sports, I never like the like the guy who's the best player. I want the guy who's like kind of weird, like the underdog, who's kind of weird, doesn't have the right technique, but is still somehow doing it and like making an impact. I think I always was wanted to be that kind of guy. So yeah, so there are obviously people who are like really skilled at a particular single instrument and have dedicated their whole life to that and
Right.
do just that, like a specialist. But I wouldn't put myself in that category.
I actually find it really amusing that your goals weren't that like
Yeah,
it wasn't
yeah.
like
My
you
goal
wanted to be the best
No,
person.
my goal. No, no, no. I never. I kind of felt like best is means that you have to put in all your time in one thing, and
Right.
that seemed boring to me for some reason.
I
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
Actually, I feel like your quirkiness, like I can see it in your music videos, like that
Huh,
aspect of you is reflective in your music for sure. In your music,
right.
more than your music for sure. Um,
Yeah.
and okay, this I don't know if so since you and Jivraj both are from Calcutta, right?
Yes.
So has that been like an influence for your music at all? Because I mean, the place city is
Yeah.
culture and your
Yeah.
music
I mean,
video.
correct. Yeah, the culture, obviously, visually, there's two aspects. I think one is the way the city looks.
Mm-hmm.
It's the history of it. Obviously, it looks like, because it was so old and it was the capital of India, and the British made all these beautiful buildings and all of those things, which
Mm-hmm.
are now, obviously falling apart. But it's still beautiful in when it's falling apart. Like, it's still beautiful in a
Oh,
sense, right? Because there's also, like, it's a unique thing, right? It's charming. There's something always charming about an old monument, or like, something which is seen better years but is still kind of hanging in there types. So that's one thing which we never actually experienced too much, because the part of Calcutta that me and Jivraj grew up in
mm-hmm.
is like a new area. It's not old Calcutta. It wasn't the old Calcutta. Like, I never grew up running through the gullies of like old Calcutta, or like being part, like my dad or my parents might have lived in that world, but and I have friends who may have lived in that world, but I grew up in a building. It was like a building, like a normal, it could be a building in any city of India,
Right.
so uh, I think only when we sort of were looking for visual inspiration for our music videos,
Mm-hmm.
the first one specifically, it just seemed like the obvious thing. Let's tap into that old world sort of charm of
Mm-hmm.
Bengal, West Bengal, Calcutta, like a specific style of India, which maybe people on the internet and people in general have not seen. So, and also combining it with this English song, which is kind of like a American country song,
Right.
but and it's got me and Jivraj, who are like these kind of strange characters uh, in the suits. It felt like an odd combination of things which don't really work together. I mean, they if you tell anybody that, okay, I want one, two, three, these three things, to a director, or to um, like someone who actually makes music videos or movies or ads, I think
Mm-hmm.
they'd be like, how does it all come together? It doesn't really. And I feel the fact that it doesn't really come together is what makes that video, that first video, which is I Love You Baby, I Love You Doll.
Right.
I feel that's probably the thing that interested people. Aside from the music and the fact that it looked beautiful, and the fact that we had a really good crew that helped us shoot it, and our
Mm-hmm.
director Misha Ghosh was the only sort of adult, at the table. The rest of us were just kids. We were just, hi, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this. We didn't know what we were doing. She's the only one who actually knew how to make a video. And yeah, I think so. I think that was your question, right? Like the visual thing
Yeah,
about
right.
the coolness of
Exactly.
Galga. So I think, yeah, that plus the fact that we had the suits, they were tailored suits. We put in that little extra thing,
Yeah.
of having like a uniform and something identifiable. So yeah, I feel like those were like strong enough visual cues for the time. That song is really old now. I feel that video came out in 2016. It
Nine,
was 20, yeah,
17,
2016
like
actually.
16 or 7.
2016. So 2016. So it was 8 years ago.
My God, I still remember how I literally listened to it like back then. Oh my God, are
Yeah,
you sure? Wait, I need to.
yeah, it was 2016. Correct. It was 2016.
Oh my
Um,
God, that's all. What the hell? Okay.
so yeah, I think for that time it was an interesting piece of content. If we were supposed to reframe it to what the landscape of videos and things are today,
Mhm.
I don't know if it came out today if people would be so enamored by it.
Well, how
Uh,
come?
Mainly because I feel like there's so much other strong visual content which also is now, like, you see videos which are aesthetic, which have that Wes Anderson-esque vibe
Right,
now.
right.
Uh, and I kind of feel like the era of the produced sort of like high, like very over the top, like highly produced, overproduced sort of music video with like sets and like
Right.
costumes and all of
Yeah.
that. I think people are kind of sick of it, to be honest. I kind of think that. I think that's because they've consumed so much of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost as if they want to see something which is more like handmade, more like immediate, more real,
Real.
like
Yeah.
they can see past, okay, this is a production, this is a director, this is a really good camera, I just want to see a video where someone shot it on their shitty phone camera and is just in their like garden or bedroom or something, you know, like
Oh
I kind
hell
of,
yeah, I think I agree. I totally agree with you. Do you feel like you might like change?
yeah. I mean, I have this new project now, which is called TV Dinner, which is just
Okay.
actually I just started it 2 weeks ago actually.
Hey, nice. Okay.
And if you go, if you, it's just yeah, TV Dinner.
Okay.
Um, yeah, all those videos are just it's me. I'm just trying to be like a like a bedroom producer guy, you know, like a kid. Like I see so many like talented younger people now because I'm old. I get to say younger people. I'm older, much older than everyone. But yeah, I'm like so inspired. Like I always kind of feel like that's the when you're in that phase where you're just like putting out music or you're, you know, sharing art just for the sake of it, like you don't have any sort of transactional expectation from what's happening. That's the best purest form of art, and I'm always trying to like chase that somehow.
Mhm. I think that is beautiful, and honestly speaking, I think for a lot of artists, they do give up when it does start feeling like a transaction eventually if you're not really
Yeah,
getting much back, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
was there a point for you at any point where you felt like you weren't getting back enough, and you wanted
Yeah,
to
yeah, always. I think artists always artists are like have the biggest ego, like any type of artist, right? Whether
Right.
it's musicians, musicians specifically, especially songwriter musicians, like the kind who like put your face on in front of everyone and
Mhm.
you know is like me, like me, like my song, like my story. You know,
Right.
uh, it's a very like it's a very tough mentally. It's a tough thing to contend with, right? Because you're always trying to like everyone says I put like this is the every song that you write you feel this is the best song that I've written or whatever,
Right.
and that means that everyone is going to love it and it's a big part of my life that I'm
Mhm,
sharing, you know, and I want everybody to like share that story with me.
mhm,
But the
mhm,
truth is that it's not like people for people is just a song that they're listening to and then you know they're going on with their lives.
mhm.
So in most cases I would say in other than one or two eh, like you don't your expectation is never really matched. So I think over the years in a positive way I've sort of stripped away a lot of expectation in that sense.
I see.
I don't expect like first of all I really value everybody's time.
Mhm,
I feel anyone like it's not a big deal. We are just like musicians were just creating pieces of art, yes,
mhm.
which are supposed to be consumed mostly for entertainment. Sure, there's a lot of art which is not for entertainment. It may be for therapeutic purposes. It may be for, you know, for other sort of environmental purposes. It may be not necessarily for just consumption, but if ultimately you want someone to either listen to or look at something that you've made and feel a certain way. So
Right.
I'm okay with the fact that there will be times when someone listens to or looks at something that I've made and may not engage with it. And now there may be, because of the way the algorithm works on Spotify and Instagram and all these channels,
Mhm.
they might not even see it. You know, they might not see it. They might
I
not hear it or see it. So, and that's okay. I kind of feel that's part of the game also now. That is the game. That's the rule. And don't, I think there was a quote, maybe another musician said it, I don't remember, but like don't hate the game. Like you may don't hate the game the way that it's been set up. You have to, if you want to play the game, that's a choice that all artists have to make.
Oh
If you
wow.
don't want to play the game, then it's okay. Then just delete Instagram and like it's fine. You might still find an audience. There are artists who don't have any social media and have like very successful touring careers
Right.
who but I kind of feel like the ingredient at the end of the day, the thing that's important is
Mhm.
that you just make the things that you want to make. That's all. And you have to keep doing it repeatedly. And you can't like think about, oh, this is going to be a hit song or this is going to be, you know, successful or this is going to get this many views.
Mhm.
I don't think that should be the goal for artists. There never was also, actually, I think. And now specifically, it shouldn't. It's now more than ever, I think people should create just for the sake of creating, because there is enough room for everybody's creations, I feel. It's there. It's
For
not
sure.
it's not saturated, and it's not like, oh, why should I make this song? There's so many songs already. It's, yeah, but just make the song, write the book, make the painting. I feel like now's the time. Now's the time to do it. So
I
I'm
think that's
optimistic
beautiful.
about that.
That's very optimistic, actually. But in all honesty, I think your music does deserve much more recognition than it has. And a lot of useless things blow up on because of the algorithm. And I wish it kind of did favor um, artists a little more, I would say,
Right.
with
Yeah,
artists.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I think it's the reason, like the things that you're talking about, the useless, quote unquote useless things that are blowing up. I guess they have a specific use, obviously, for someone who's watching it, or it's scratching some itch. So I actually don't ever begrudge anybody who's made anything, even if it's a bad movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it's a really bad movie, like I'll still say that, okay, I respect the fact that people have made this movie, people have put in like effort. There has been some creative thought which has gone into it. It may not be a thought that I agree with. It
Mm-hmm.
may not be to my taste, but that's okay. I mean, I think a lot of people get hung up about like taste these days. That, oh, this doesn't like suit my palate. I don't like this. This is like stay away from me. But I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
that's like, it's not, I don't feel that's a healthy relationship to have with anything that anyone has created. Like, I don't think rejection is a good. I don't like rejection. I don't like to reject things
Mm-hmm.
in general. I don't like to be rejected, and I don't like to reject things. Both. Yeah.
I think that's lovely, and I
Yeah.
feel like if everyone had that approach, artists
Yeah.
wouldn't be so afraid of like actually putting their work out there.
Yeah. That was always another thing. That's like a crazy one for me. Like I think that's also stupid, because when I was younger, I used to have this thing where there was a when I'd come. I think it was when I was 18 or 19 years old. I just learned how to like make music on my computer,
Okay.
right? And I would upload one like song a week. No, I was uploading one song a day on
Oh my God,
SoundCloud.
what?
Yeah,
How are
on SoundCloud.
how are you making so much music?
I was just, and they were like half finished songs. They were just like ideas, concepts, but all of
Right.
them were kind of songs. They had vocals, and they had like, they were all like totally, and it was all like, it didn't sound right because I didn't know how to mix and master. So it was like the
Right.
bass was too heavy in this. But every song, I was like learning something new. I was trying a new experimental thing.
Mm.
So Ocean, the song Ocean, which
Yeah, yeah,
was
Ocean,
offered.
yeah. Yeah.
So that came from those demos. The demo of that song
I see. Okay.
was written on in that phase. Uh, maybe Panda as well. I'm not sure, but yeah. So I was just like messing around, and I wasn't scared to upload. I was like, obviously nobody was listening. It was SoundCloud. There must have been like 8, 9, 20 people, 25 people listening to it. Uh, I remember even "I Love You, Baby, I Love You, Doll," the song, just the song. I had
Right.
actually initially uploaded to SoundCloud first, and I remember it actually got a decent following on SoundCloud. So somehow that uh, that song sort of got a lot of listeners on SoundCloud, and I don't know how, because I still don't understand how SoundCloud works. But yeah, so anyway, coming back to the fact that artists being afraid of releasing their work,
Mm-hmm.
I always had I was always fearless for some reason. I'm stupidly fearless. Like even now, like there are times where I'm making something, I was like, let's just like I can just upload it now. It'll be on Spotify in like 24 hours or something. Like what
Mm-hmm.
difference does it make? So it's only over the years, and even now, like when I was younger, my first thing was like, if I've made something that I'm excited about, I'm gonna like send it to like 10, 15 of my friends or something and
Aw.
be like excited about it. But that's a nice feeling, and I feel like all these young creators on Instagram and on TikTok, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that's the community that they've built, where
Right.
it's like it's just people are excited about the things that they create, and they're excited to share it. And I feel like that's a good transaction. Like that's a healthy transaction.
I feel like that's what art was supposed to be always. I think it became something else altogether, but
Yeah, yeah. I guess in the end, the problem is the boring stuff is the commerce of it and the viability and the logistics.
right.
I feel like that's when those are like obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of feel like now with the new age of the internet, which is I feel this is like I've seen the internet go through at least 2 or 3 like avatars, maybe
Right, right,
pre Spotify, pre YouTube, then YouTube,
right.
then it became Facebook.
Mm.
Facebook plus YouTube was sort of
Yeah,
the
yeah, the
time.
me, yeah, for sure.
That was when we were also like that was a situation where we were also just like most of our success actually came via Facebook into YouTube. So we would post like a lot of our clicks. I think happened mainly because we posted our song on our Facebook channel, and we
Mm.
didn't even have that many followers on Facebook, but somehow people were resharing it on Facebook, messaging it, and then the Instagram generation. And I think it took me a while to understand what Instagram actually is. And I think I only figured it out now, but I think I'm too late because now there's going to be the next thing. Well, TikTok is not in India, so I'm lucky in that
Right.
sense. But everywhere in the world, it's TikTok otherwise. Yeah.
Really, I honestly always think YouTube will be the place. Like, I don't
Yeah.
think like Facebook
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Twitter will
YouTube,
always be.
YouTube for sure. Yeah, I think so. So your content, that's where you find that it's the best fit for YouTube.
I would say YouTube and weirdly word of mouth. I know
Yeah.
that might be like the last place. It's not been social media. It's been more of word of mouth and like people approaching me like on WhatsApp, literally like texting me saying,
That's
"Hey,
cool.
I heard
That-
from this person." So that was weird. So
Mhm.
yeah, I still can't figure Instagram out honestly. So um I'm glad you were able to.
I mean, I'm just guessing I figured it out. I don't know if I figured it out.
Okay, so
Yeah. I don't know.
this might be a really odd question, but artists have this thing of like really criticizing their work a lot. So, is there like
Yeah.
any track of yours that you particularly don't really like and were very unsure about releasing?
Yeah, I'll give you a whole album, our whole second album, for sure. Yeah,
Why?
our whole second album, Science City.
Yeah, I love that. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a one or two like there's one or two songs which I still think are good, but a
Mhm.
lot of that album, I think, uh, me and Jivraj were like we just got lost in our own process,
Okay.
and that's a nice thing. Also, I think it was a good stepping stone. It was like a good learning experience
Hmm.
personally, but I don't think that we gave our listeners at that time. We weren't generous in our creativity. I
Okay, I
feel
see. Okay.
generous in the sense that a lot of our listeners got on like bought a ticket to our train
Hmm.
thinking that we're going to go to a particular destination, and I feel that that is generally what we do when we like particular artists or directors or anyone, right? We okay, I like this person because they give me these feelings or this thing,
Right.
right? So I feel like with Science City we didn't give them what we should have or we could have rather,
Hmm.
and we gave them something which they didn't order necessarily, and it was like it was a strange flavor. I think it was a strange flavor profile for our listeners, and also the way that we presented ourselves a little bit, in the sense that we wanted it to be more like electronic and more technical, somehow technological in a
Right.
sense.
Right.
It was okay. I mean, not our best effort, I would say. Not our best effort, not the best conception,
Hmm.
not the best sort of manner in which we uh, put all the pieces together in terms
Right.
of the songs.
Hmm.
I personally, as a songwriter, wouldn't count that as my best work. Um, and even production wise, I think there's a lot of gaps. There were a lot of things which we could have done better, which we should have done better. Also, that whole album was just me and Jivraj. Like, we didn't have any outside musicians play on that album, other than one or two songs, which actually was a mistake in retrospect. We should have. It's always nicer. It's nicer. We found later that it's with the third album, I was quite happy. I was really happy with The Night Is Clear.
Night is Clear
And I think
was my favorite, I would say. So.
okay, yeah, that's awesome. That's great. Yeah, I think same. That's where I sort of felt like we felt like okay, now we sort of know what we are doing in a sense. So yeah. But yeah, your question, the answer is the whole of the second album.
That's okay. I was expecting like one song, but okay, one entire album is crazy.
Yeah.
Wait, so okay. A lot of artists like they like working individually, right? So how
Yes.
did you and Jivraj like combine? Like how did that work, you know?
It's a very complicated relationship that me and Jivraj share in a sense. I think we still kind of work individually, but we just happen to be also working together. It's like the way that we work, like the way most Parekh Singh songs have been written so far have been, I sit at my computer, and I like make a demo,
Right.
essentially. Then I send it to Jivraj. Usually, and this was like, so there's a little bit of a deviation, but like when the pandemic happened, nothing sort of changed for us because we were working remotely anyway, always. Like we were always already using Dropbox. We were already like sending each other things on like iMessage and on WhatsApp earlier, and then so that's how we were working. Like I make a thing, I send it to him. He makes his thing and he sends it back. I add it to my thing. Again, I send it to him. Then he might add some more layers. And then finally we have a thing where we have probably never like physically together sat in the same room and hashed anything out in terms of making the song most of the time.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, but it just works.
So there's no jamming. There's not a lot of jamming.
But it seems to work out perfectly. And I kind of like that because you have your own like individual thing going on, right? I think that's awesome.
Yeah. And the thing is, obviously there's conversation about it.
Right.
Like I'll tell him, okay, maybe this, maybe not that. And there'll be revisions, not too many. And he'll tell me also, maybe there's another part that we can add. But yeah, that's kind of how it's been. So it's been individual, but a combination of individuality for us in a sense.
I love that.
Yeah.
That seems perfect, actually.
I mean, that's what it's been so far. We're trying to change it up now, but let's see what happens.
Well, we listeners are always ready for something new. Okay, so I just have like 2-3 questions more before we end it. So, okay, so I know like music is completely subjective and everyone like feels very differently about it. Your music particularly has always like been something that either makes me happy or really calm, mostly actually calm, I would say. What's something that you always wanted to convey to your listeners through your music? Like, what did you want them to feel? I know you can't be sure of what they could feel, but what is something that you wanted them to feel?
Yeah. Peaceful is definitely one of them. So calm, like you said. So that's good. Peace and definitely feel joy. I think joy is very, because most of the music that I've heard that I like, that has been important to me, has left me usually in a joyous state. Like I'm really happy that I heard that song. And over time, what happens is that like I think songs become like friends, they all become like old friends of yours.
Of course.
So you're always happy when you meet an old friend. And I kind of want my music to feel like that for anyone who listens to it. So the songs that I make, I want them to like, when they come back to it, they should feel like, oh, I met an old friend and I'm happy about that experience. And I'm happy about the memories that I first had when I listened to it. So I feel like I wanted to feel like instantly nostalgic. I think that's what I.
It does feel nostalgic. Your music feels very nostalgic for sure.
Yeah, and I feel like that's always kind of been my thing. Right. And I've obviously moved away from it here and there. I've been trying to like see if there's other things I can make people feel, but I don't think I'm necessarily very good at that. Because the thing is, I've never felt anything other than these few things from the music that I like, and I keep going back to it. So peace and joy are the two lanes that I play in mainly, I think.
You think you'd ever drop like a very melancholic album?
Yeah, I think because there's like a principle, right, in writing and in in lyric writing as well, is the pleasure pain
Right. Yeah.
principle. So I feel like even the sad songs are like they make you happy only. You don't have
Yeah.
to listen to them.
Yeah. Right.
You're happy that you met. Yeah, and I've had like there's a lot of like sad. Yeah, melancholy is definitely an emotion which is well received in general, I think, from listeners on all genres of music.
For sure.
Because everyone likes to feel sad. Everyone is happy to feel sad.
Right. Oh, but very true.
Yeah.
Have there been any okay, so you spoke about like how the music you like makes you feel happy, right? So
Yeah.
what artists do you listen to? Like maybe
It's
5 favorite. Okay, 10. 10.
10. Okay. 10. So number one is Ella Fitzgerald definitely
I
makes
love
me
Ella.
number
Okay.
one. Number two is this artist. I don't know if you heard of Feist from Canada. Her name is Leslie Feist. She's like a great songwriter. She's one of the reasons I probably became a songwriter.
Okay.
Leslie
Okay.
Feist, James Taylor. That's 3.
Mm-hmm.
The Beatles for sure. That's 4.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's I'm supposed to give you 10. Shit, actually, sometimes when you think that 5 is too less, but then you think 10 is too much. Because it's tough to fit in. But okay. Louis Armstrong also.
Okay.
Number 5. Um, okay, I'll give you like 5 old ones, and I'll give you like 5 that I've been listening to more recently.
Okay.
And different styles.
So you've been named only like 2 jazz already. So
Yeah. I love old school jazz, like
all jazz.
vocal jazz and like 1940 to 1950s era jazz.
Mm-hmm.
There's this Japanese artist that I've been listening to recently. Speaking of peace, this is an artist called Yoshi Hiroshi Mura.
Oh my
He
God, yeah, I love. Oh my God, yeah. I listen to a lot of Japanese artists. Yeah. Okay.
yeah
Yeah.
Yoshi yeah
Yes. No,
yeah Hiroshi Yoshimura, sorry, Hiroshi Yoshimura. So there's this album called Surround, which is actually just an ambient album. It
right.
doesn't have any lyrics. I think it was originally written as a soundtrack to a line of prefabricated homes that some company was trying to sell in Japan in the 1980s.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So it's a 1986 ambient masterpiece. It's a reference for a lot of like current ambient music that people make. And it's like just beautiful little like synth palettes and drones. And it's like, I just listen to it a lot when I'm in the car driving these days. And that's new because I would almost exclusively listen to like vocal music with lyrics and like singing. But so Yoshimura, Surround. I've suddenly from artists I've gone into albums, but anyway.
No,
So
thank you. No, I love Hiroshi. Actually, you might like this artist called Oyama Hiroto, as
yeah,
well.
I'm gonna make a note of that.
Yeah, he's also like because you like Hiroshi. I listen to a lot of Japanese artists myself, so
Okay. Yeah. Well, then there's an artist also from the US called Theo Katzman. He's a songwriter.
never heard.
Um, he's great. He used to be in this band. He is still in the band called Wolfpack. Have you heard of Wolfpack?
Not really.
They're a good band. Yeah, like funky, kind of like really fun, like wacky guys. Really
Okay.
good musicians.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, he made an album recently called The Wheel, which is really good. Great songs on that. Then lately, I've been listening to an artist called Jessica Hoop also. No, sorry, Jessica Pratt. My mistake. Yeah, Jessica Pratt. She's also like an American folk songwriter, but she sounds like she's probably from like the 1970s.
Yeah, she looks a bit like Dolly Parton. So.
Yeah, yeah, but she's amazing. She's from now. And an all-time favorite of mine is this guy also from Canada called he calls himself Bahamas, like his
I love
acronym.
Bahamas.
Yeah, so Bahamas, AFI Urbanin. It's like a lot of these, I find like a lot of the artists now that I listen to are all over the age of 30. I think that's maybe because I'm over the age of 30.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know any, I don't know what young people listen to anymore. So yeah, I think I don't know how many that was. 9?
I think you did 10, right?
I did 10.
I stopped counting too.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, last one gotta be the Beach Boys. I love the Beach Boys. Beach Boys. Actually, Beach Boys should be number one. I love the Beach
Number
Boys.
one,
Maybe.
more than Fistula.
Yeah. Beach Boys.
Beach Boys.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, just 2 more questions before we end this. Okay,
Okay.
maybe one song or album that changed your life. Changed your life.
The Reminder, Feist.
Oh, right, you named Vice in your
The Reminder. Yeah. The
Why?
album's called The Reminder. That actually changed my life. That changed my life.
Why?
It still, if I listen to it again, it still changes my life every time I listen to it.
Why though?
I don't know. It was, I guess when I was young, it was the first time that I heard an album in its
Mm-hmm.
entirety and I understood how it all works together.
Mm-hmm.
And also the songs are like so like they're so likable. They're all like so charming. Each of the songs, they all like, for me, the way I look at songs, I look at them as people. Like I look at them as they have personality, they have a history, they have a past,
Mm-hmm.
they have characteristics, they have quirks. And each of those songs were such interesting people, all of those songs.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, then an album is like a family of people, and they all need to have like a seat at the table, and they all need to have their individual personality, but they need to all work together eventually. So that album was just beautiful, and I watched a documentary about it. So then I fell in love with the process of how an album is made and the visual aspect of how they all work together. And I think in that documentary, she said, Leslie Feist, she said, spoke about how each of her collaborators are like amplifiers. So like in guitars, like you have to plug in a electric guitar into an amplifier to make sound. So
Right.
no matter how good the guitar is,
Uh-huh.
it's only going to sound as good as the amplifier that it's plugged into.
True.
So she says, when you pick collaborators, you need to think of them as amplifiers. So pick your amps wisely, because it's like a very, sympathetic relationship. So yeah, that album, Feist, The Reminder, that's the
Right.
answer. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so I'll end it with this question because you actually mentioned that.
Yeah.
Even if it's like completely far off, like what's an artist like you would like to collaborate with and maybe like make at least one track with them?
Damn, it'll have to be Feist again.
I forget.
I'd
Why
love to
you
make
really?
I love to make a song with her. Yeah. That's my dream. If I do that, then I know that okay, life has been worth it. At least my creative life, artistic life. Otherwise, life is worth it also. But at least my artistic life is worth it. Yeah.
Actually, you know what? You never know. It might just happen. I think for someone who's that optimistic, you should hold on to hope for that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but thank you so much for being here. I can't thank.
Thanks.
And
Thank you. Thanks, Shreya.
I love your music beyond capacity. And I know you don't dream big and aim big, but I really hope that y'all make it much bigger. Something when you look back and you're like, what? Like I want you to make it that big.
Yeah. Arey, no, don't. I may be very positive and optimistic, but there's like a big, like that side of my brain does also exist, and I'm very fiercely competitive also actually, but just trying to tone it down and be like,
Modest. Yeah.
relaxed. Yeah, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Yeah.
I love that bit. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah,
Okay.
I'm
All right.
waiting for that track with Feist for sure.
Yes. Okay. All right. Thanks, Ashwarya.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.